Today it's new Looper Day.
It is indeed. Today's video is going to be focusing in on the new Sheeran Looper Plus. If you want to see our video on the Looper X, again, that's a separate video, but just check the links below. But yes, this one's all about our friendly little Looper Plus.
There we go, man.
It's so inspiring doing this
lovely,
kind of stuff.
Looping is great. Looping is great.
Well, as we said right at the beginning, this is the Sheeran Looper Plus. It is the baby brother of the Looper X, which you can go and watch in another video, and you'll find the link below.
Absolutely. I mean, this is super simple, man.
This is where it all started for Ed, right?
Yeah.
2-button looper, busking.
Little bus.
You know, doing his thing with his acoustic guitar and a microphone and stuff like that. Pretty exciting news, right? Probably the biggest name in live looping ever. Obviously, Pete's the biggest name in looping in videos, but Ed's definitely, you know, the biggest name in looping. So he has collaborated with, he's got his guy that did the Chewy thing for him. He's gone to the guys at Headrush, who have obviously got real heritage in doing looping stuff. And he's kind of gone, this is what I need. And this is the baby one.
Yeah.
So what you just heard at the beginning there was Pete really just live looping, right? So just
live looping,
going straight from loading in a drum track, having it in the mode that as it goes around each, was it like a 2-bar drum track? It's just going permanently into that overdub mode. So you very, very quickly built up this really cool 3-part guitar thing. Then we put some bass over the top. Then we do some silly vocal thing.
You sing beautifully.
It's like, it's just super cool.
Yeah.
And this is a sub 300 pound, everybody can use this kind of looper.
Yeah. And it's super solid. I mean, this is such a super solid thing to have. And it takes batteries, so you can play live just in your battery.
So we're running it off of a 9-volt power supply at the moment, but yeah, it comes with batteries. I think it powers off of USB as well, didn't we?
I think it turn it on, pull it when you update it and whatever. So
this is a relatively simple product, right? So this video won't be crazy long. The Looper X has all the crazy features, and Looper X is typically what we would use in the studio to make our sort of multi-track loops. So go check that video out if you're thinking, I want something a bit more sophisticated. So let's just go into the basics of this. So I'm going to go into its menu because it's kind of the easiest way for me to take you through what the functionality is. So it has this thing called an encoder button here, which I press and hold to go into this menu.
Super simple.
And you're kind of seeing some options here around fade, reverse, speed, save. These are all things that I would do to a loop, but that's not where I want to start. So the first cool thing about Looper Plus, and absolutely critical for when we're doing loops here, is it'll allow you to load in your
drums or backing
audio
track
files.
or whatever,
So all the drums that you're hearing that we're playing here are from a company called Yurt Rock. There's lots of alternatives to Yurt Rock out there, but these are real drums that you go and you have to buy the Yurt Rock stuff, but it's not expensive, is it? And then that you might buy like 100 drum loops, whatever, played by real drummers. great studios, and then you can jam along to those. So that's what you heard there.
You do have to have the pedal hooked up to your computer.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, you go into the storage mode, and it comes up, and then you can drop them in. You've got 100 folders. It's super simple.
So the first thing I want to show you is Logic. Logic is, do you want this play button here to go record, dub, play, which is what we did there, or record, play, dub.
Yeah.
I must admit, I think I've got a TC Ditto looper. The default on that is to do record, play, dub.
Yeah.
The Boss stuff is record, dub, play as default. You can change them if you want to, but you decide what you want to do. That opening
and
jam.
it's super simple. Look at the menu, it's so simple. Even we can understand it.
This is important. You've got 4 modes of looping: single, multi, sync, and song. This is, I'm not entirely sure how this compares to other loopers, but my gut feeling is this is quite an important thing if you want to use this as in a live scenario.
Yeah.
So the single, there you probably saw there's a single mode, a multi-mode, a sync mode, and a song mode. These are also features that have come from the bigger board, but for a sort of a compact unit. So single mode, you've got one loop. One loop, that's it. It's whatever the length that your first loop that you put down is, whatever you overdub, you're not changing the length of that loop. All your overdubs have to match that same loop. The second mode is multi-mode. Now, multi-mode brings in this concept of 2 tracks, A and B.
Yeah.
These are independently recordable, but they have to stay to the same length.
Yes.
So whatever if let's say you record track A first and you do a 4-bar track, then B must also be 4 bars long, but you can start and stop them separately, and they are 2 distinct tracks. If I go into the next mode, which is sync mode, that's the same concept. You've still got A and B, except that now B can be a multiple or a division of track A. So if track A is 4 bars, you could make track B 2 bars or 8 bars or whatever. As long as it's the same multiple, it will sync those 2 tracks together.
Yeah.
And then the final one, being song mode, they are 2 completely discrete tracks.
Verse and chorus.
Yeah. Could be different tempos, could be whatever you want them to be. They're just completely separate. So we did that first thing on single mode, and single mode is your normal 2-button looper. Yeah. Then we've got, then we're going to bring in this concept of using a separate pedal. So within the assign menu, you can decide what does the encoder button do. Yep. There is this sense that actually if you've got very dexterous big toes, you can actually use the encoder button as a 3rd button.
Yeah,
I'm not entirely sure that I would be too comfortable
with
doing
big boots
that.
on it.
But yes, the idea being is if you put a little 2-button momentary foot switch in, this new X one is, I mean, any brand works with this as long as it's momentary. Isn't this 20 quid or something?
I don't know, yeah, something like
mega cheap.
Quid,
doesn't come with it, but, and it's, at the moment, I don't believe there's like a Sheeran official 2-button looper. It's just
It would be cool with one with 2 of those on it, wouldn't it? But
yeah. Anyway, so we're going to actually use this A and B button when we do the final loop to assign.
Are we doing a final loop as well?
Yeah, so we'll do a multi loop where we do something on track A, something on track B, and then we're going to use this button to switch the tracks, stop the tracks independently. It's much easier to do that. I believe you can do all of that functionality with just these 2 buttons, but you're into like double clicks and things like that to just, and holding things. And I think it's just always easier to have the buttons separately.
Absolutely.
What else have we got in this menu? MIDI outputs. Again, you've got the option of mono, stereo, or split. So we'll talk about that for a minute. Mono, nice. It is a stereo in, stereo out unit. If you want to use mono, it's just going to sum everything to the same signal output. If you're in stereo mode, it's going to take the left input and assign that to the left output and right input to the right output. Split is a little bit more interesting. So split assigns what you're looping to one output versus the dry output to the other output. We've elected, we sort of, one of the features that's on the bigger looper board, which isn't on here, is a slightly more sophisticated routing option. Oh, I say slightly, substantially more sophisticated.
Yes.
So what we're doing for this video is we're using an amp simulator, a little UAD amp simulator, to record the guitar parts that we know we want to loop.
Yeah.
And then we're using an AB box to come out to a normal guitar amplifier when we just want to do the soloing over the top. The alternative with this is either you do everything through front of house or you do everything through your guitar amplifier.
Yeah. Which is what I do at home. Anyway, I even run the drums straight into it and it's absolutely fine. But, you know.
To some degree, I suppose, you know, you either accept that drums through a guitar amplifier doesn't sound amazing, or you accept that guitar through front of house. But actually, guitar through front of house, if you've got the right
gear,
it
it's
sounds
just
fine,
a bit more of a setup, isn't it?
Okay, we've got 2 more to go. USB and about. That's easy. So USB obviously determines what you're going to try and do with the USB functionality.
Yeah, basically it'll literally, when you update or whatever, or when you want to load in loops, that's what you have to go into that feature.
Cool. So that's basically it. So its real selling features here are its simplicity, its robustness. These pedals are, it's quite interesting when you listen to what Ed really needs from a looping unit.
Yeah.
It's like, it can't break.
Yeah.
You know, it has to have nice, simple workflow,
Yeah.
and it needs to be decent quality.
Yeah.
And that's really what you're getting here. It's interesting, the bigger Looper X doesn't really have any competition. It's completely unique. It's the only Looper that does what it does. The Looper Plus obviously does have, you know, you've got several other brands will make a dual button.
RC, with the microphone input and all that.
But I guess what really the Sheeran one is offering is, I really like these pedals. In a way, I think these are, particularly if you're playing live, these are a nicer experience than the little Footswitch. Yeah, these, which most...
Yeah, which are difficult to get right as well, because there is a bit of a dragging, but, you know.
And I just think there isn't really any latency with most loopers. Periodically you get one where you just feel like, I'm sure I hit that on the one and it wasn't quite, but of course this is super pro like that, you know, you don't get any of that sense of,
Worth mentioning, you've got an input for your microphone with really good preamps in it.
Yeah.
You got a level mic for that, and you got a level for your instruments and a main output level. So it's got some good preamps in it, it sounds good. No phantom power, worth mentioning.
So you just need a normal dynamic microphone for that. So that's kind of it, to be honest with you. I don't, like I said, battery powered, which you said at the beginning. So for anybody that is feeling like they want to just do looping and, you know, single track or dual track loops is enough, and you don't need the ability to be able to mix your tracks separately when they're coming out of the unit.
And it won't break because it's solid. It's a solid unit, which I really like about that and the bigger one. It's just so...
These pedals are the same pedals that have come off of Chewy, you know, Ed's looper board that have done a zillion gigs with him. So, we really like this. But look, that's pretty much the end of this video.
Yeah.
So what I just want to do is Pete and I'll now do...
and subscribe.
I say Pete and I. Ed, if you're watching, please like and subscribe. You might win the Klon if you're the millionth person that subscribes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
or come in and do a little loop off.
I would love to get Ed and Pete in a room and see what looping magic happens.
There would be no looping going on. There would be loads of other things going on.
So we'll finish now by going into its multi-mode and doing and showing you how the A and the B thing works. And that's basically it. So
I like it.
If you didn't see us do the big Looper X video, again, links will be below. That's a much longer, more sophisticated video. But these are in stock now. Change out of £300. It's a great product for any guitar player.
Fredo.
Again, I should say we've stuck predominantly to doing our demos with electric guitars and drum loops and all that kind of stuff. All of Ed's videos are of him doing his thing with his acoustic guitar and singing.
Yeah.
This is
you
comfortable,
can do whatever you want.
Whatever. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you later. All right, just a quickie before we go into this. I've changed this record mode now to do record into play and then dub rather than dub first. And I've also set this up so that one of these foot switches is switching between the A and B track. Obviously, these two foot switches will basically work on whichever corresponding track is going. And then the other one, I've done as basically a mute switch. So I can basically mute a track. That is basically all we need to do.
All interesting.
So stop, by the way, is going to stop both tracks. So if I just want to stop or mute, I have to use the mute feature. If I want to stop both tracks, I do both.
You could even set this to fade out.
You could. The fade out is actually quite a cool feature on here, isn't it?
Yeah.
But hey ho.
Hey ho.
Right. Okay. Count us in.
1, 2, and a 3, and a 4, and a. Do some bass on it.
So we're going to switch to track B. We've armed track B ready now. Pete's going to play some bass. Here we go.
You can go back to the other track, and then I'll just play a little bit more on top of that. That's it, and I can go to my amp.
If we want a bit where we only hear the bass line, I can mute the guitar bit. That's all I can sing.
And I can delete that, can I?
Do it. Yeah, delete it. It's terrible. That's it. The end.
At the end. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, so lots of fun with this. See you later.